Now the whole earth had one language and the same words. And as people migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar and settled there. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be dispersed over the face of the earth." In blatant disobedience of Genesis 9:1. So the city and the tower are the outward expressions of the sins in here. And what are the sins? Let's make these plain because they're yours. Mine. Sin number one, the love of human praise. There's not a person in this room who doesn't struggle with that. Not one. Love of praise. We're going to make a name for ourselves so people will think well of us. Whew. Those folks in Shinar are powerful, smart, organized. And the other sin is the love of security. Build a city. Cities represent security. Build a wall. Run to the city. You can farm out there, but go in here at night. We all struggle with the love of making our lives secure, making ourselves look good to other people. And those are the dominating controls in our lives. We're this way. Now, God's will for human beings is not that we find our joy in the praise of men, but that we find our joy in knowing and praising Him. And God's will is not that we find our security in the things we can build, places we can go, locks we can put on our door, alarms we can put on our car. That's not where to find our security. We're to find our security in Him and in glad obedience to Him. So, here's this spectacular sin of man. Even after the flood, thunderclap of warning, don't sin like the world was sinning. Wipe out the world, leave 8 behind. And a few years later, we're no better than when we started. That's the point of the Old Testament. That's the point of these stories. Judgment, mercy, judgment, mercy, judgment, mercy. And we never improve. Never do we improve apart from redeeming grace. What does this have to do with the big purposes where God is going? The coming of His Son, the glorifying of Jesus Christ. Suppose someone asks, isn't there going to be, at the end of the age, one of those big, monolithic, worldwide states? Isn't that in Revelation somewhere? Isn't that in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2? And the answer is yes. In the last day, God will loosen the restraints. Something is holding back the man of sin. God will loosen the restraints of Antichrist. Paul calls him man of lawlessness. John calls him the beast. Loosen the restraints. There will rise a great global attraction. There will be horrific persecution of believers. So much so that had He not shortened those days, even the elect, gone. The book of Revelation describes this Babylon, which represents the great city, mercantile, professional powers of the world exalting themselves against God and against His anointed, raging. Her sins are heaped high as the heaven. As she glorified herself, lived in luxury, so give her a like measure of torment and mourning, since in her heart she says, I sit as queen. I am no widow, mourning I shall never see. Alas, alas, you great city, you mighty city Babylon, for in a single hour your judgment is come. In the last day, God will loosen the reins. There will be a man of sin, a man of lawlessness, an antichrist, a beast, and there will be an uncanny attraction to him across cultures and languages. Christians will endure horrific persecution, and then on the clouds of heaven, the Lord God Almighty, Jesus Christ, will slay him with the breath of His mouth. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7, verse 8. And Babylon will be no more. All the towers will have come down, and in that day the Lord alone will be exalted.